I never believed it. I never believed that one can find calm in the process of writing. Though some part of me always knew, I think. I loved to return to my travel journal even as a kid. There was something so fascinating about the act of getting my memories on the paper, catching the details that will likely be forgotten had I not written them down. I like to reread it even now, years later. I kept bits and pieces from all sorts of places, and it brings me joy to just go through them and partially relive the moment. It is the magic of writing. Interesting thing is that I kind of always admire the people that were able to stick to consistently writing something in their journals. I couldn't. I loved getting a new diary. I would get so thrilled, convincing myself that this is it. This time I'm gonna commit to the daily act of writing. And with that mindset, I always lasted something like, a week, maybe 2 if lucky. The travel journal was really the only one that stayed with me. But I wanted something a bit more personal. When I was in high school, I came across the idea of morning pages, and something drove me to give it a shot. Little did I know about the impact it was going to have on me. The idea is that before doing anything else in the morning, you should write 3 full pages longhand of whatever comes to your mind. The best thing on all of that is that you're supposed to write them as if you're never going to read them again. It was the one thing I was lacking in all other journals. The freedom. I used to write with the possibility of someone reading my thoughts, and that kept me chained to the ground. The moment I decided even I was never going to read it again, that was the deal breaker. The words were just flowing and my mind was getting clearer. I still have to admit that 3 pages were rather long for me. I tried for a few days, but then I realized, nope, that was not going to work for me. So I altered the system to my own needs. I found out that I didn't have to write every single day, so I wrote only when I needed it, regardless whether I was happy, angry, or sad. Whenever I felt my head overwhelmed, I knew there was this cheap, simple notebook that I can come back to. The fact that the notebook was a plain and a cheap one was also a major step. I tend to think twice when I write in a beautiful journal, one with some extraordinary and interesting cover. In this one, I didn't care. Might sound stupid. Well, so be it, because the fact that I didn't feel sorry for ruining a pretty notebook helped me to stop caring at all about how it looked, what I wrote, and started to work as a tool to uncover who I really am. Who is the true me? True, I do have to say that I didn't keep my initial promise. Do not ever read those entries again. I did. About a year after I started, I flipped through the pages and read some of them again. And something really interesting happened. It wasn't like with the travel journal, where it would again let me immerse in the moment and I would go back in time, sort of, to visit that moment in my head. This time, I read, and yes, I returned. But I didn't feel the same, nor I could relive it. I laughed. Yes, I laughed. Why? Because I was amused of what I deemed a problem back then. I laughed at what made me pick up the pen. But most of all, it was then when I realized the power of writing. For it helped me to overcome so many things, and for a long time I didn't even realize it. The moment I wrote, the moment I sorted through whatever I was going through, some part of me changed, shifted, closer to living more in balance with myself and everything around me. Before I really understood what was happening, I have already been journaling for a year, then 2, and this year, July 2020, it is going to be 3. Wait, what? I used to be unable to stick it out for a month. 3 years? It seems insane right now. Sometimes we must simply try and fail before we find out what's best for us. And it is not going to be the same for everyone. What works for me doesn't have to work for someone else. But the main point is that nothing is set in stone when it comes to how you journal. It is totally up to you. And for some reason, that took me a long time to understand.